me. Why? I'm pregnant again. Why?
You was sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low
You, I
self-esteem.
know you're
Ladies,
not talking.
ladies,
I know you
you guys want to hear the case?
Let's get some
Tell us
order.
right now who your
Let's
fucking
get
neighbor
some
is.
order.
What you do? What? Shit, guys.
Danielle told
Oh
me
my God.
that he wasn't marrying anyone else. Sorry, so I'm sorry that he's
Well, Danielle told me.
This is a sad state of affairs to see three beautiful young women act a fool over you.
Can you believe this? Ms. Austin lays down the law, demanding proof that Mr. Wallace is the father of her 9-month-old son, Ronald, because it's high time he stepped up as a dad. She's really not playing games anymore. Buckle up. The courtroom roller coaster is just getting started.
Ms. Austin, this is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation.
Hold on to your coffee because things just hit the fan. Mr. Wallace slings a harsh insult at Ms. Austin, which earns him a quick scolding and ejection from Jerome, the no-nonsense bailiff. Jerome's not having any of that disrespect in his courtroom. Keep your eyes peeled, because the next part is a doozy.
When it comes to baby Danielle Wallace, Mr. Wallace, you are the father.
He is the innocent baby. Like, I ain't have a father in my life, so I don't want my kids to grow up not having no father in their life.
Well, that escalated quickly. Amid a fiery exchange of accusations about fidelity and parenting, Ms. Austin and Mr. Wallace throw verbal daggers at each other. The judge has to jump in to cool down the hot tempers, reminding everyone about manners. Just when you think it's simmering down, the spice level goes right back up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Why
now,
do you keep allowing me to sleep?
I'm gonna keep on just because I know that you with her. She's
So,
I
allowed.
don't have nothing to do with that.
Yes,
If
you
you
do.
was sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low
I know
self-esteem.
you're not
Ladies,
talking.
ladies,
I know you
you guys want to hear the case?
let's get some
Tell us
order.
right now who your
Let's
fucking
get
neighbor
some
is.
order.
What?
And it's chaos in the court. Ms. Austin and Ms. Roberts turn the courtroom into a wrestling ring, screaming and making a spectacle. The judge has to call a timeout, and Ms. Roberts is sent to the bench. Fasten your seatbelt because the courtroom antics are far from over.
Right? Because you were wrong for going back and forth between the two women, and then you were wrong for being pregnant and talking to other men and expecting him to then believe your child is his child automatically. And look, I don't want things getting out of hand, and I know this is an emotional thing to talk about, Miss Austin.
Grab your tissues, folks. Ms. Austin spills her heart out about feeling abandoned by Mr. Wallace time and again, stressing the strain it's put on her and their kids. It's a real soap opera in here. And guess what? The emotional whirlwind continues.
He doesn't care, and I'm done. Like, what more can I put into this?
That's false.
The problem
Donna.
is because he said he didn't want to stay with Kinsley anymore. He wanted us to be back a family. And I did what I had to do to move into the apartment.
Just when you think Mr. Wallace is about to make a dramatic exit stage left, Judge Lake steps in like a seasoned director, preventing his walkout and reminding him of his responsibilities. The stakes are high, and the drama is even higher, leading up to a moment of truth.
Do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here, get your
Sitting up here
composure,
putting on this performance.
get composure.
I knock that
Stop
out
it.
your head.
No, you won't.
Mr. Wallace.
You sitting up here, you taking her
Come
back.
on.
Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
Pertaining to 9-month-old Ronell Wallace. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father. I want to get you all some help.
Buckle up, here we go. Ms. Nesbitt kicks things off by suing Mr. Henderson, claiming he's the dad of 7-month-old Zion and demanding he step up once it's proven. She's not holding back about his lackluster dad duties, setting the stage for some serious courtroom drama. Hang tight, because Mr. Henderson's about to throw a curveball.
Ms. Nesbitt, you are suing to prove to Mr. Henderson that he is the father of your 7-month-old daughter, Zion.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say that when the results prove you right, you expect Mr. Henderson to step up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought it was simple, Mr. Henderson fires back, suggesting Ms. Nesbitt's romantic escapades with the neighbor during conception make him doubt he's the father. This bombshell introduces a messy love triangle that just reeks of daytime TV gold. Stick around, the plot is about to thicken.
I've been mine, but she's not, so I felt kind of hurt. So
there's a level of resentment there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
So what's your relationship like with Zion? Were you there through the doctor's appointments, birth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes, Your Honor.
Plot twist incoming. The conversation turns to what Mr. Henderson has actually done for Zion. Despite doubts, he admits he was there for the birth and even signed the birth certificate on the sly, despite Ms. Nesbitt's protests. It's a mix of noble and nosy, and oh boy, does it stir the pot. What's the judge going to say to that?
So, Mr. Henderson, you did sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you remember having the conversation with Ms. Nesbitt that said, don't sign it just yet because it may not be yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
You remember that conversation?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you signed it anyway?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, he even lied to his father and told him that he got a DNA at the hospital when he didn't.
Ready for a wild ride? In a crucial exchange, Mr. Henderson admits he ignored Ms. Nesbitt's pleas not to sign the birth certificate because he wanted to secure his rights, regardless of his paternity doubts. This confession just adds another layer of drama. You'll want to see how Ms. Nesbitt reacts to this bombshell.
Well, let me tell you how it all began. He had sex with his cousin, and I felt very vulnerable about it. And, you know...
Yes, I did, but that was before her. She already knew about that.
Okay.
Yes, let me tell you how it all...
Proceed.
You know, I received the inbox telling me she said that she had sex with my little black car and they had a baby.
Hold on to your popcorn. It's confession time. Ms. Nesbitt drops a major bomb. She doubts Mr. Henderson's paternity because of a brief fling with Mr. Brown, their neighbor, right around when she got pregnant. The details are as spicy as reality TV gets, setting the stage for some neighborly fireworks. You won't want to miss Mr. Brown's entrance.
You know what I'm saying? We was chilling, you know what I'm saying? When I was massaging and my hands led to other places, and you know what happened after that.
Yeah. So now, what happened when she got pregnant?
She had texted me and told me, I got something to tell you. I'm like, tell me. She's like, I'm embarrassed.
And in this corner, Mr. Brown. He steps up to testify about that infamous one-night stand and their ongoing texts that seem more frequent than just afterthoughts. His casual dismissal of any lasting connection only adds more fuel to this fiery court drama. Brace yourself. The truth is about to come out with the DNA results.
Mr. Brown, you are not her.
Oh! Hey, I told
Okay,
you.
sit down, Mr. Brown. Your name rhymes with clown, but you're not gonna clown today. Just calm down. Mister, calm down.
Fasten your seatbelts for the truth reveal. The climactic moment arrives as the DNA test results are finally read out loud.
I mean, it is just, you all just silly with it all. But you're making babies.
I mean, you can make babies as long as they get taken care of, because some guys out here will just make a baby and be like, I'm gone.
Ms. Nesbitt, you gotta own too, this level of resentment you feel for Mr. Henderson, you gotta let that go. Because you told him from the jump.
Can you believe this twist? Mr. Kidd accuses Ms. Rawlings of manipulative behavior, asserting she convinced him of his paternity to her son, Nathaniel, only to deny it later when a better man came along. He and his mother claim that Ms. Rawlings' actions have caused significant emotional turmoil within their family. And just when you think it can't get more dramatic, the next scene really turns up the heat.
Mr. Kidd, you say Ms. Rawlings is a manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more complicated, Ms. Rawlings counters Mr. Kidd's claims by stating he is not Nathaniel's father and mentions Mr. Kidd had previously confessed to her about his infertility due to a medical condition. She argues that Mr. Kidd and his mother have deluded themselves into believing he is the father out of desperation. Strap in, because the roller coaster is just getting started.
That's how me and Mr. Kidd ended up having relations, because I was staying with him. But as you know, everything progressed and everything started off, somehow another female came into the picture, and I went off and did my own thing and was dealing with him and another gentleman also.
Did that just happen? In a revealing exchange, Ms. Rawlings clarifies she never directly told Mr. Kidd he was the father, but he assumed this role after she disclosed her pregnancy. She explains her precarious situation at the time, living arrangements, and subsequent relationships which led to uncertainties about Nathaniel's paternity. Just wait, the next part is a real doozy.
Because I'm typically in a long-term relationship. I've never had any kind of hiccups, any thinking that they might be pregnant, any slip-ups, no.
You've never gotten anyone pregnant?
No, ma'am.
Oh boy, here we go. Ms. Rawlings discusses her relationship dynamics, revealing that she had relationships with Mr. Kidd and another man concurrently, leading to confusion about the father's identity. She emphasizes her transient and unstable living situation contributed to the complex personal relationships. Buckle up. The revelations in the next segment are even juicier.
Ms. Rawlings, you began to let Ms. Jenkins have visitation with the baby.
Me being me as a mother, and I wasn't able to grow up with my father. If Mr. Kidd can't see the moments that he's missing, at least his mom will be able to have them, and his family has some stories to tell.
Wait, what? A discussion about a rare blood condition potentially affecting pregnancy outcomes arises, with both parties providing their understandings of medical details, which could complicate paternity and pregnancy viability. Hang tight, because what comes next will add another layer of complexity.
After I gave birth to Nathaniel, and they instantly, you seen it in his face and in Nathaniel's face, his face lit up. And even his brother was there and was like, yeah, man, that's your son.
The other guy?
Yes, because
Did he sign the birth certificate?
No, because I didn't have my ID.
You've got to be kidding me. The nature of the relationship between Ms. Rawlings and Mr. Kidd is further clarified. What began as a housing favor due to her difficult circumstances evolved into a sexual relationship with no commitments, complicating the emotional and social dynamics involved. Get ready, because the saga continues and it's more tangled than ever.
You gave let me read this letter. You wrote, I, Taneva Rawlings, the parent of Nathaniel Rawlings, I give Tammy Jenkins temporary physical custody of my son.
Because of the fact that once I told my stepmom, I came to the decision where when I lost the job because I didn't have a babysitter.
Did anyone see that coming? Ms. Jenkins, Mr. Kidd's mother, recounts how she first learned about her potential grandson through a photograph, which sparked her immediate recognition and emotional connection, believing firmly in the familial resemblance. The family drama is about to escalate, so stay tuned.
One of our experts, Dr. Jamila Gator. Jerome, will you please escort Dr. Gator into the courtroom? I'd like to ask her a couple questions.
Hey, doctor.
Well, that escalated quickly. Ms. Jenkins is allowed visitation with Nathaniel, despite Ms. Rawlings' steadfast claim that Mr. Kidd is not the father. This arrangement underscores the complex emotional and familial entanglements and Ms. Rawlings' desire for her child to have familial connections. The next twist is right around the corner, and it's a big one.
So, Ms. Rawlings, after you've heard the testimony of the doctor, does that change your mind in terms of your belief? Because when you came in, you don't really think he's the biological father.
No, ma'am.
And Ms. Jenkins and Mr. Kidd, if Nathaniel is proven not to be your biological grandchild.
Are you ready for this curveball? A heated debate unfolds about a temporary custody arrangement facilitated by a handwritten letter from Ms. Rawlings to Ms. Jenkins due to unstable living conditions and employment challenges faced by Ms. Rawlings, highlighting the precarious and urgent decisions she had to make for her child's well-being. The climax is approaching, and it's going to be a shocker.
Mr. Kidd, you are the father. You are the father.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at least even the fact that he said that he would have stood up, that was what I was still going for, period.
Nobody saw this coming. The dramatic climax occurs as the paternity test results are revealed.
That my child will have his biological mother and father.
Don't hug her.
And he has a family, something that I really didn't have.
You do now. You got a big family now. Come here, my baby.
Buckle up, folks! The courtroom drama kicks off with Reed vs. Austin, where the legal circus involving paternity chaos and marital woes gets its grand opening. As the case is introduced, you can almost hear the whispers of anticipation. Get ready, because this roller coaster is just getting started.
Good day, everyone. Ms. Reed, you are demanding that Ms. Austin have a paternity test administered on her child, whom she claims was fathered by your estranged husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here we go. Right into the thick of it. Ms. Reed makes her bold demand for a paternity test on Ms. Austin's child, pointing fingers at her estranged husband as the man in question. This opens a can of worms and sets the courtroom on edge. What's coming up might just make your jaw drop.
Now, I found out about Mrs. Austin. One day I came in from the hospital from having my second child, and Rael's phone rang, and I just so happened to answer the phone. And Mrs. Austin, she said, "I'm Rael's girlfriend." I said, "Rael's girlfriend? Did you know that Rael was engaged to me or whatever and just had a baby?" She said, "No."
Tensions soar and the stakes hit the roof. Ms. Reed, feeling betrayed and financially strained, seeks $5,000 in damages from Ms. Austin for alienation of affections, painting a vivid picture of a life turned upside down by a romantic entanglement. Grab your popcorn because the defendant's response is up next, and it's bound to stir up some drama.
Your Honor, that means that she didn't mind playing the role as his little mistress, because any woman wouldn't sit there and be in a relationship with a man that has a woman. Like, as me as myself, I have respect, and I don't want to be no one's mistress.
A bombshell drops and the plot thickens, just as Ms. Reed reveals the shocking discovery of Ms. Austin's affair with her partner right after she gave birth. The courtroom's atmosphere tightens with suspense. The emotional roller coaster is about to take another dive. Keep watching.
Explain that situation, Your Honor.
Oh, please do.
I did that out of revenge. At the time, Rael was cheating on me with her. So I noticed that Demiria was messaging a boy up on Facebook telling him how she missed him. So how about I get revenge on Rael and talk to her boyfriend?
Ms. Austin swings back with a defense that adds more spice to the saga. She argues her innocence in the matter, claiming ignorance of Mr. Wallace's marital status when their relationship started. This twist adds layers to the moral dilemma. Brace yourself. The counter-arguments are going to heat things up.
You just standing there, Mr. Wallace, like you don't have a piece of remorse in the world. Now, you don't?
No, ma'am.
You don't have any issues with cheating on your wife?
No, she's not a victim.
She's not?
No.
Oh, fill us in.
First off, she wasn't a good wife.
Accusations and justifications fly left and right as Ms. Austin places some of the blame back on Ms. Reed, suggesting that a lack of home management led to the affair. The courtroom is buzzing with tension and anticipation. What happens next could flip the script.
I mean, with Mrs. Austin, and it was wrong.
You feel like it was her fault that he went out?
I feel like it was his fault too because, like, she didn't know what was going on, like she said. Rael was sitting up lying to her, so I can't really blame her. But then again, I can because she knew all about me and still slept with my husband.
Cue the main character of this drama. The court awaits Mr. Wallace's entry with bated breath, ready to confront the man whose love life has turned the courtroom into a soap opera. The air crackles with anticipation. This encounter is set to be a showstopper.
I need to deal with the people in front of me. You have a suit where you are suing Ms. Austin for alienation of affection.
Correct, yeah.
For the amount of $5,000.
Correct.
But what we found out today through testimony and confirmation is that Mr. Wallace actually went after Ms. Austin.
Finally, Mr. Wallace steps into the limelight, confessing his dual relationships and possible double paternity. His casual admission sets the stage for an even more tangled web of drama. Everyone's ears are perked for his next bombshell revelation.
As per these results prepared by DNA Diagnostics, Mr. Wallace, you are her father.
Told you, dummy. She looks just like you, dummy. Everything, dummy.
Denial mode activated. Mr. Wallace throws another curveball by rejecting claims of paternity over Ms. Austin's child, suggesting another man's involvement. This adds a delicious twist of mystery and intrigue. The judge's reaction to this is up next, and it's bound to be priceless.
You are here requesting a paternity test to prove to the defendant, Mr. Wallace, that he is the father of your 5-month-old son, Danielle. You have asked the court to administer a lie detector test to prove he's still trying to be with you.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any more convoluted, Ms. Roberts enters the fray, claiming Mr. Wallace is also the father of her child. The plot thickens to a stew as the courtroom digests this new bombshell. What she says next could change everything.
The child looked like the rest of her kids, and I believe the same guy who is the father of her 4 other kids is the father of that baby. She's 22, she had 5 kids.
I sure do.
Wow.
I sure do. And you got 4, and what you do for them? Oops.
It's crunch time. The courtroom holds its breath as the paternity test results are about to be unveiled. This moment of truth promises to either mend fences or fuel the fires of conflict. The envelope, please, and let the chips fall where they may.
Okay. Be Miss Wallace. Whoa, I'm sorry. Soon to be.
Correction.
Oh my God.
Correction.
Oh my God.
Rayel told me that he wasn't marrying anyone else. Sorry, so I'm sorry that he's where Rayel told me.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Mr. Wallace, you know what? This is a sad state of affairs to see three beautiful young women act a fool over you.
Can you believe what just unfolded? Mr. Kidd accuses Ms. Rawlings of initially convincing him that he was the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changing her story when a better prospect appeared. He expresses strong emotional turmoil inflicted upon his family by Ms. Rawlings' actions, claiming a 100% certainty of being Nathaniel's father. You won't believe what's coming up next. Grab your popcorn.
Mr. Kidd, you say Ms. Rawlings is a manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family.
This next scene is a doozy. Ms. Rawlings counters Mr. Kidd's claims by stating he is not the father. He previously acknowledged his infertility. She describes both Mr. Kidd and his mother as desperate to believe he is the father, despite her certainty to the contrary, leading to her goal of proving them wrong in court. The courtroom drama is about to get even juicier, so stay tuned.
Ms. Rawlings, you say Mr. Kidd is fully aware he is not Nathaniel's father, as he himself told you he cannot have children. You say Mr. Rawlings and his mother are two desperate people who convinced themselves Mr. Kidd is your son's father, and you intend to prove them wrong today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where it gets spicy. Ms. Rawlings detailed her relationship dynamics around the time of conception, revealing involvement with another man alongside Mr. Kidd. She explains the unstable living conditions and subsequent relationships that led to uncertainties about Nathaniel's paternity. You'll want to stick around to hear what she spills next.
Okay, how it happened was we met through a mutual friend, and I didn't know anything about Mr. Kidd. Starting off, my mutual friend ended up leaving, and the situation that I was in, I didn't have anywhere to go. And that's how me and Mr. Kidd ended up having relations, because I was staying with him.
You're not going to want to miss this heartfelt moment. Ms. Jenkins, Mr. Kidd's mother, shares an emotional account of bonding with Nathaniel, whom she firmly believes is her grandson based on physical resemblances and a strong personal conviction, highlighted by a significant meeting in the park. What happens next might just bring a tear to your eye.
I called her and asked, we talked for a couple weeks, and I asked if I could see the baby, and she said yes. We were at a park. He was in a car or a stroller, and I said hey to her. I said, but you know what I'm here for, and I went straight to the baby. Picked him up, had said, hey, Sugarfoot, and he smiled, and we played, and...
Buckle up for this twist. Ms. Rawlings discusses the involvement of another potential father, explaining his belief that he might be Nathaniel's father due to physical resemblances and his proactive involvement in Nathaniel's life, including visiting the hospital post-birth. The revelations are far from over, so keep watching.
The other potential father, did he ever acknowledge that he could be the father or express interest in being in Nathaniel's life?
Yes, he did, because he was the one that actually told me to get a test to see if I was pregnant. And me and him were sick together. And he actually reached back out to me because he had some other situations going on.
The pressure's really mounting now. The court addresses Mr. Kidd's medical condition that might affect his fertility, introducing Dr. Jamila Gator to clarify the medical aspects. She explains that while Mr. Kidd had a condition, it likely didn't preclude his ability to father a child, contrary to what Ms. Rawlings believed. The big reveal is up next. Brace yourselves.
In your paperwork, that suggested you had another medical issue which would prevent you from impregnating Ms. Rawlings. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, the court wanted to get down to the bottom of this particular situation because we were very concerned about this information and wanted to be accurate.
The room is thick with anticipation, the dramatic climax as the DNA test results are revealed.
Mr. Kidd, you are the father. You are the father.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at least even the fact that he said that he would have stood up, that was what I was still going for, period.